When you open Instagram, TikTok, or any other platform today, you see one incredibly dangerous thing. Women no longer hide their true desires. They aren't ashamed, they don't filter, they don't hold back. They broadcast everything that used to be taboo just to get another dose of attention. And this attention has become a drug that destroys everything: relationships, trust, loyalty, families, morality, the female psyche, and male patience. There was a time when a woman in a relationship at least tried to maintain an image. There was respect. There was a boundary. There was at least a shadow of shame. Today, she can be lying next to her man in bed, and in that same moment posting a half-naked photo for thousands of strangers who like her body, save her picture, and send her dirty messages. And the problem isn't even that she does it. The problem is that she believes it's normal, that it's just self-expression, individuality, my body, my rules. Loyalty has been replaced by likes. Faithfulness has been replaced by validation. Relationships have been replaced by a digital attention market where every woman trades the most valuable thing she has, her image, in exchange for a momentary dopamine hit. There was a time when a man was her center. His opinion mattered, his attention warmed her, his respect had meaning. Now, he's just one of many. A regular viewer. A background extra. Background noise. If her man doesn't compliment her, not a problem. She has hundreds of others. If her man doesn't notice her new hairstyle, not a problem. 60 strangers already wrote, OMG Queen Fire. If her man can't be online next to her every minute, also not a problem. There's an army of orbiting men who will give her what she wants: attention. Fast. With no obligations. With no boundaries. And this is exactly where the scariest thing begins. Social media gave women the illusion of infinite possibilities. The illusion that they can always find someone better. The illusion that the man beside them is replaceable. The illusion that loyalty is something old-fashioned and unnecessary. She may be in a relationship, but in reality her mind is already elsewhere. In the cloud of likes. In thoughts about how that guy from the comments looks. In fantasies about another life, another man, another kind of attention. And you won't even understand when it happened. Because social media didn't just destroy female loyalty. It destroyed female attachment. The female sense of mine. The female sense of boundaries. You can sit at the table with a woman who calls you love, and at that very moment dozens of men can be looking at her body in close-up on their screens. Worse, she enjoys it. She doesn't see it as betrayal. Because to her brain, this is no longer wrong. This is normal. This is the new reality. It all starts innocently. A filtered photo compliments, likes, DMs, emotional dependency, distance from her partner, searching for new experiences. And then, in one moment, the man stops being the center of her attention. Social media becomes her real partner. And the man becomes just a decoration. There is one moment men refuse to accept for a long time. The moment when a woman stops belonging to the real world and transitions into the world of digital illusions. And the scariest part is that it happens quietly. Slowly. Invisibly. At first you think she's just spending a bit more time on her phone. Then, that she's taking more photos. Later, that she has become a little colder in communication. But the truth is completely different. Her psyche is no longer here. Social media has taught women to receive emotions that relationships used to provide, now without relationships. And this destroys everything. Think about it. Before, when a woman wanted to feel desired, she needed a man, his look, his words, his kiss. Now, it's enough to take a mirror photo. Enough to arch herself at the right angle. Enough to press post. And within seconds, she will receive hundreds of confirmations that she is desired. And no man next to her can compete with this wave of dopamine. Because the man is real, with his emotions, his needs, his flaws. And the online audience is perfect. It always approves, always admires, always wants more. And here's what begins to happen. 1. Loyalty turns into a commodity. A woman isn't cheating physically, yet, but her loyalty is already placed on the attention auction. She can sit next to you, but her heart beats faster not because of you, but because her phone lit up with a notification. 2. Her brain begins to adapt to excess attention. A woman who receives thousands of gazes a day can no longer return to a normal emotional level. One man stops being enough. He cannot replace an entire army of admirers. 3. She becomes addicted. Likes are not just approval. They are chemistry. They are a drug. The same kind that causes addiction faster than alcohol or gambling. And when a woman gets used to attention, she stops valuing the one who is beside her. His opinion becomes one of many. His love becomes just noise. His jealousy becomes laughable to her, because she truly believes she is doing nothing wrong. But the worst part is not the loss of attention. The worst part is the loss of attachment. A woman who lives every day in an environment of endless options is no longer able to feel real devotion. Because devotion is based on choosing. And when she always has a better option in her DMs, she stops choosing just one person. That's why so many men today say the same thing. She seems here, but it's like she isn't. You can be beside her physically, but emotionally, she hasn't been with you for a long time. She is with those who like, with those who write, with those who lift her self-esteem, with those who live inside her phone. And now the most dangerous stage begins. Loyalty becomes conditional. She is with you as long as you give her the emotions her phone gives her. But you can't. No one can. It's physically impossible. And then she begins to cool down. Fewer hugs, less initiative, less warmth, and more photos online. More for everyone content. More open doors into her life. Eventually the moment comes when you understand. She is no longer yours. Her attention is on the market. Her emotions are at auction. Her loyalty is blurred among hundreds of men she will never meet in real life, but who influence her more than you do. And this is where a man begins to feel the deepest fear. The fear that he is no longer able to be enough in a world where women have become accustomed to endless attention. There is one thing men don't like to say out loud, because it sounds too humiliating, too painful, too honest. But the entire modern reality comes down to this. The more attention a woman receives on social media, the less her man's attention matters. Not because she is bad. Not because she is malicious. But because the human brain was not created for this level of stimulation. And when her self-worth is built by hundreds of likes, one man can no longer build anything. It all starts innocently. A photo of coffee. A photo of a new top. A mirror selfie. But every photo opens a door. Every like strengthens the addiction. Every comment creates a micro-crack in her loyalty. It's not about her wanting to cheat. No. Most women don't plan to cheat, just like most people don't plan to become addicted. Addiction always begins with small doses. But over time everything changes. She starts evaluating herself not through your eyes, but through the eyes of the internet. You are no longer the source of her self-esteem. You are no longer the one who influences her mood. You are just stable background noise. But that guy who wrote, "You're unreal," and the one who left 10 emojis, and the one who likes every picture, they are her emotional donors. They are the ones feeding her brain when you're not there. And here a man falls into the trap every man fears, but no one acknowledges. She starts living a parallel life, a life where you are not the main character. You are a side character in her reality. And the online players are the main actors in her inner emotional world. But the real horror begins when a woman starts comparing you to illusions. On social media, men have no flaws. They don't get tired. They don't argue. They don't forget. They don't make mistakes. And most importantly, they demand nothing in return. But you are real. You are alive. You have boundaries, needs, a personality. And that is why you lose. A living man will always lose to an idealized image. That's why you start seeing changes that at first seem like small details. She stopped asking how your day was. Stopped hugging you with the same sincerity. Started hiding her phone. Started taking selfies more often than talking to you. This is not a coincidence. This is a process. A process of detachment that cannot be stopped with words. Because you're not fighting real men. You're fighting a death wall of euphoria that the internet gives her. And then comes the moment all men fear. The moment you first feel that she looks at you not as her beloved, but as a temporary option. Not because you're bad, but because a thought appeared in her mind that destroys any relationship. I can find someone better. And social media feeds her this thought every day. It shows her more handsome men, more wealthy, better dressed, bolder, more ambitious, with perfect photos, perfect captions, perfect images. It doesn't matter that all of it is filters, illusions, staging, performance. Her brain doesn't differentiate. It reacts. That's why every like is a nail. Every comment is a crack. Every message is a noose tightening around her ability to stay loyal to one man. But the worst part is the shift in psychology. A woman no longer values relationships. She values possibilities. And if those possibilities are endless, loyalty stops existing as a concept. At this moment, a man realizes a terrifying truth. You can be the best man in her life and still lose to a mirror selfie on Instagram. Social media won. It defeated reality. It defeated you. But we haven't even reached the darkest part yet. Because next comes something men don't even suspect. There is one dark truth that men learn far too late. When a woman enters the world of digital attention, she stops belonging only to herself. She gains a second audience. Hidden, silent, powerful. An audience that influences her behavior more strongly than any of your words. Stronger than your feelings. Stronger than reality. These are the invisible men who live in her phone. Men she has never seen, but whose voices she hears every day, in the form of likes, reactions, messages, small signs of attention. And here's what most men don't understand. She may never respond to them, but it doesn't matter. Her loyalty is undermined not when she replies, but when she knows they are there. To destroy loyalty, cheating isn't required. You only need to show a person that they have options. And social media did this perfectly. There is a stage almost nobody talks about, the digital, emotional reserve. In real life, she may be with you. But online, she always has men who are ready to catch her if she ever decides to leave. And this changes her thinking. If she's angry, someone in her messages is waiting to say, "You deserve better." If she's doubtful, someone already writes, "I wouldn't treat you like that." If she's sad, she opens her story viewers and sees dozens who quietly watch her. And this silent reserve gives her a sense of power. A feeling that she is irreplaceable. That she can always walk away, and she will never be alone. You may not know these men, but she knows they exist. And that alone is enough for her devotion to start dissolving. But then comes the most dangerous part, digital competition with imaginary opponents. When a woman spends too much time on social media, she stops evaluating you on a real scale. She starts comparing you to actors, fashion influencers, bloggers, fitness models, successful men with beautiful profiles. Those who seem perfect only because their lives are edited. And you are no longer competing with reality. You are competing with a carefully crafted fantasy. You cannot win this battle. No one can. Because a real man always has flaws. And the internet never. Social media triggers a process in a woman called emotional adaptation to excess. You can give her care, attention, stability, but she has already gotten used to abundance, to variety, to an endless stream of microstimuli. Imagine a person who eats only desserts every day. What happens when you give them normal food? They say it's tasteless, boring, plain. Her psyche works the same way. A real man seems boring when her brain is hooked on the sweet drug of digital attention. It's not your fault. It's biology. And now, the scariest part. The one men don't see until the very end. When a woman starts receiving too much attention online, she develops a new criterion of value. If so many men want me, why should I be loyal to just one? She may never say this out loud. She may never cheat. She may even consider herself faithful. But her thinking has already changed. Loyalty is no longer a principle. Loyalty is an option. And if someone else gives her more emotion than you, she won't feel the internal barrier that used to restrain women for generations. Social media blurred the line between mine and others. Blurred the line between loyalty and attention. Blurred the line between relationship and market. And now a man is not fighting for love. He is fighting for attention. And that is a losing battle. But ahead lies the darkest part of all. The part that begins when a woman completely loses the ability to form attachment. And that is where real chaos begins. There is a state that a woman reaches after living too long in digital attention. A state after which she is no longer capable of belonging to anyone. Not because she is angry. Not because she has bad intentions. But because her brain has been completely rewritten by another reality. It's called emotional numbness. And when she enters it, a relationship with her becomes impossible. What does this mean? That she no longer feels deeply. No longer loves strongly. No longer attaches forever. She can laugh, spend time, take photos, play the role of the good girl. But inside, there is an emptiness she hides even from herself. Her emotional receptors have burned out. What triggers this process? When a woman lives for years in a stream of attention. Dozens of men in her DMs. Hundreds of reactions. Thousands of views. Constant comments. An endless emotional background of noise. She stops recognizing real signals. If you listen to music at maximum volume your whole life, you stop hearing the quiet notes. The same here. She no longer hears the emotions of one specific man. Even if he is sincere. Even if he loves her. Even if he tries. She is emotionally deaf. That's why you feel something is wrong. She may sit next to you, but inside, she feels like she's behind glass. You try to reach her, but every word bounces off. You try to get closer, but her gaze passes through you. It's not indifference. It's burnout. Social media has turned her heart into an interface. Click emotion. Comment dopamine. Reaction self-validation. And anything that can't be posted, recorded, shown loses its value. Your presence has no like button. Your efforts have no algorithm pushing them into the trending feed. Your feelings have no effect that gathers views. You are real. And realness today loses to simulation. And comes the moment when a woman loses the most important function, the ability to be grateful. Think. Why do you hear the same phrase from modern men everywhere? She doesn't appreciate anything. This isn't a whim. This isn't culture. This is biology that has been broken. When a woman constantly receives excessive attention, she stops noticing the efforts of one specific person. If everyone sees her as special, why should she thank any one man? Her psyche has been rewritten. Gratitude replaced with expectation. Value replaced with demands. Loyalty replaced with options. And then comes the moment that is the most terrifying for any man. The moment when she is no longer capable of loving for long. Her brain is trained for short flashes of emotion, for quick excitement and quick cooling, for changing impressions every 10 seconds. This is called emotional defocusing. She can be wonderful today, and cold tomorrow, open in the morning, and distant in the evening, as if she becomes a different person every time. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because her nervous system has adapted to excessive stimulation. You cannot be a firework every day. No one can. But now she loves only fireworks, and hates silence. And here is the final truth, the harshest of all. Social media destroyed female loyalty not by giving women other options, but by destroying the attachment mechanism. The mechanism that made a woman able to love deeply, remain faithful, build a future, value the man beside her. She can no longer attach, because attachment requires a sense of scarcity, and scarcity no longer exists. She is not yours. She belongs to everyone, and at the same time, to no one. Her heart is dissolved in digital noise. Her attention is smeared across hundreds of strangers' eyes. Her emotions scattered by algorithms. Her loyalty broken into microdoses of reactions. And when you leave one day, she won't even feel it, because your place will be taken by the next notification. And this is the darkest truth of our time. Social media has created a generation of women who are no longer capable of belonging to one man. Not because they don't want to, but because their psyche has forgotten how.